You're walking through the market, the late afternoon sun glowing on woven baskets and polished copper pots. Your hands brush against rolls of silk that feel impossibly smooth, dyed in colors so bright they almost hum against your skin. But none of that is what captures your attention. What catches you is her face, half hidden at first, behind a line of hanging tapestries swaying in the breeze. She isn't looking at you, not yet. She's haggling with the seller, her voice calm, steady, almost playful. And something inside you pauses. It isn't just that she's beautiful, though she is. It's that you know her. Not by name, not by memory you could ever explain. But you know her. The curve of her cheek, the tilt of her smile, the way her hands flutter when she laughs, all of it feels written into you already. You linger longer than you mean to, pretending to examine jars of saffron while your ears tune only to her voice. You tell yourself it's nothing, just attraction, just curiosity. But you recognize the way your chest tightens when she steps closer, like a song you used to hum as a child without knowing where you learned it. When her eyes finally meet yours across the dusty sunlight, it isn't shy or startled. It's steady, almost too steady, as though she is remembering you at the same time. A look that makes you swallow once, twice, and still not be rid of the dryness in your throat. She tilts her head the tiniest bit, like she's trying to place you, and you wonder if she's feeling the same thing, the echo that makes strangers feel like home. The seller asks her a question, tugging her attention back, and you hear her answer without really registering the words. What you remember instead is the detail, how she taps the wooden counter with one fingertip while thinking. 3 taps, evenly spaced, like a rhythm she's used her whole life. You'll notice her doing it again much later, in a different place, under different stars. You buy something useless just to stay close. Dried figs, maybe, or a pouch of herbs you don't even know how to cook with. And when she finally steps away from the stall, she doesn't go in the direction you expected. She walks toward you, slowly, calmly, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. Her voice is low, quiet enough that you lean in to hear. "Have we met?" She asks, not as a flirtation, not even as a joke, but with genuine wonder. You answer honestly, "I don't know." But it feels like it. There's a silence after that. Not uncomfortable, just charged with something you can't name. You both glance away, both smile faintly, and then the spell breaks as a donkey cart passes between you, jangling with bells and baskets of fruit. When you look again, she's already drifting into the crowd, her figure swallowed by fabrics and footsteps. You could chase after her, you even think about it, but something in you hesitates. The certainty that this isn't the only time, that somehow, impossibly, this meeting is one of many. You let her go. And that night, as you lie awake in a room lit by oil lamps, the taste of figs still on your tongue. You wonder if you will ever see her again, or if your life is meant to carry only the trace of her face and unfinished sentence lingering in memory. Still, you keep the figs longer than you should. Weeks later, when they've turned almost hard with age, you touch the little pouch and feel her presence again, as if the sweetness of that single meeting will follow you across centuries. And though you don't yet know it, it will. You don't expect to meet her again. Not in that life, at least. Days turn into months, months into years, and the memory of her shifts from something sharp to something soft, like fabric worn thin but impossible to throw away. You carry the image of her face quietly, the way people carry songs they never sing out loud. But time is patient. It folds and bends in ways you don't see, and soon enough you're standing somewhere else entirely. This time, it's the 1920s. The world smells of coal smoke and perfume, jazz spilling from open doors in a city that doesn't sleep. You are younger here, or maybe older, it's hard to measure. You wear a suit that feels slightly too stiff on your shoulders, and you're walking down a street where the lamplight glows golden against the wet pavement. You duck into a cafe, more for the warmth than anything else. The place is buzzing. People laughing too loudly, the piano player pounding out a tune that dares you not to tap your foot. You find a table tucked in the corner, order a coffee you know will keep you awake far too long, and try to let the noise wash over you. And then you see her. She's sitting at the bar, a glass of something amber in her hand, her hair cut short in that daring, modern way, the light catching in waves across her cheek. She's not wearing silks and veils now. She's wearing a dark dress with beads that shimmer whenever she moves, as if every gesture is already a dance. Your stomach flips. It's her. You know it instantly. The shape of her smile when she leans toward the bartender, the tilt of her head when she listens. You've been waiting without realizing it, and now she's here again. Not across centuries this time, but across a crowded room. You hesitate. Do you go to her? Do you risk it after so long carrying only the memory? You don't have to decide. She turns as though she feels your gaze and her eyes land on you. That same pause. That same steady recognition. Her lips part in the smallest smile, not surprise, not politeness, but something deeper. And just like before, she moves toward you. Funny, she says softly when she reaches your table. I feel like I know you. The line is the same, though the setting is different. And you answer the same way because the truth hasn't changed. I don't know. But it feels like it. You both laugh, a quiet sound nearly drowned out by the clatter of glasses and the piano's relentless rhythm. She slides into the chair opposite you, resting her chin on her hand. And there it is again, the little detail, the quirk that makes her real. This time it's the way she stirs the ice in her drink absent-mindedly, over and over until the sound becomes almost hypnotic. You talk about the music, about the streetcars outside, about nothing important at all. Yet everything feels important, because every word is wrapped in that strange comfort, as if you've skipped the awkward beginning of knowing someone and dropped straight into the middle. Hours slip by unnoticed. You're too busy tracing the outline of her laugh, too busy memorizing the way she looks away when she's thinking. At one point, you catch yourself staring, and she catches you too, and instead of looking away, she simply holds your gaze. The moment is so still it feels fragile. But just as before, the night has to end. She stands, pulling her shawl around her shoulders, and you feel the tug in your chest that says, don't let her leave. Say something. Ask her name, at least. You do ask. She tells you. It doesn't matter what it is because it changes each time. What matters is the sound of it, the way it feels on your tongue, like something you should have known all along. Then she touches your hand lightly, almost a brush of skin, and she's gone. Swept out into the night with the other revelers, her laughter blending into the chaos of the street. You sit there long after she's left, fingers still tingling where she touched you. You wonder if you should have chased her, if you'll regret letting her slip away again. But some quiet voice inside insists you'll meet again. Maybe not soon, maybe not here, but somewhere. You pay your bill, step back out into the wet street, and tilt your face up to the gaslight. The rain has started again, soft and cool against your cheeks, and you let it wash away the ache in your chest. Still, later that night, lying in bed with the faint hum of the city outside your window, you turn her name over in your mind like a prayer. You wonder why it feels like you've always known her. You wonder what thread is tying you together across lives, across centuries. You don't have an answer. Only the certainty that you'll see her again. It's the present now, or at least it feels like the present. Cities have risen higher. The air hums with car horns and electricity. And you carry a phone in your pocket that contains more words than every library you've ever passed through. Life has stretched and folded into modern shapes. Yet something inside you is the same as it was in the desert market, as it was in the candlelit cafe. You're walking through the bustle of a downtown street one evening, shoes tapping against the sidewalk in rhythm with hundreds of strangers around you. Storefronts glow with neon. Music leaks from open windows. And in the middle of all that noise, you hear it, A laugh. It shouldn't mean anything. Just one voice among thousands, but it hooks into you like a string tugged taut. You stop, you turn, and there she is. Not across centuries, not across a crowded bar, but right there, walking toward you, holding a paper coffee cup with both hands like it's her only anchor in the world. Your breath catches. It's her. Different again. Yes, her hair longer now, her clothes casual, a sweater slipping off one shoulder in that careless, beautiful way. But the eyes, the smile, that recognition, that's unchanged. She notices you staring, pauses, and you watch it happen. The moment her face shifts from polite curiosity to that quiet certainty, that I know you, that can't be explained, you step closer. Hi, you say, like it's the simplest word in the world. Hi, she echoes, her lips curving into a smile that feels like home. You fall into step together, almost without discussing it. You walk down the crowded street as if you've done this 100 times before. And maybe you have, just in lives you can't fully remember. You talk. She tells you she likes to wander the city at night, just to feel the world moving around her. You nod, because you've done the same thing, though you never knew why. Now it makes sense. You were waiting for someone to walk beside you. At a crosswalk, she taps her cup lightly against her thigh. A nervous habit, maybe. The sound is soft, rhythmic, familiar in a way you can't place. You realize then, in every lifetime, she carries a detail. Something small, something ordinary. A habit, a gesture, a sound. Something that belongs only to her, yet always belongs to you. You smile at the thought, and she notices. What? She asks, tilting her head. Nothing, you reply, but you're lying. It isn't nothing, it's everything. The night stretches ahead, and you let yourselves drift without a destination. The conversation ebbs and flows, sometimes light, sometimes quiet. You don't need to fill every silence. The spaces feel safe, like cushions instead of gaps. At one point, you duck into a late-night diner. The kind with neon signs buzzing faintly, the kind that serves coffee thick enough to keep you awake until morning. You slide into a booth across from her, and as she stirs sugar into her cup, you find yourself remembering the way she stirred ice decades ago. Different drink, different life, same motion. You catch yourself staring again, and she catches you too. She doesn't look away. Instead, she leans forward, elbows on the table, and asks, "Do you ever feel like we've done this before?" The question lands heavy and light all at once. Your chest tightens, but you nod. "Yes," you admit softly. "I felt that for a long time." She studies you, her spoon forgotten in her coffee. There's no fear in her eyes, no hesitation. Only curiosity, only the spark of someone who recognizes a familiar road, even when it's covered in new pavement. You don't explain further. You don't need to. The truth sits quietly between you, warm as the cup in your hands. The night slips away. You leave the diner, walk until your feet ache, and when you finally part ways, she squeezes your hand like it's a promise. She doesn't say the words. She doesn't have to. And as you watch her disappear around a corner, you know, this time it won't take centuries. This time you'll see her again soon. But still, when you lie in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, a thought circles back. Is this love, or is it something stranger? Is it comfort or destiny or some unfinished thread pulling you forward? You don't know. You only know that the story isn't over yet. The seasons turn, and with them, your days fold into a rhythm that feels both new and ancient. You meet her often now, not by chance anymore, but by intention. Planned coffees, late walks, quiet evenings on benches where city lights shimmer across the river. It feels like building something ordinary. Two people learning the texture of each other's lives, weaving schedules and conversations, layering inside jokes, testing small silences. But under that ordinariness, you sense it, the echo of lifetimes. Each moment together feels weighted with memory you can't fully retrieve, yet you trust it all the same. One night, You're sitting on her couch, the two of you wrapped in the warm hum of a lamp. She's telling you about her grandmother, about the way she always hummed when she cooked. You're not sure why, but the image lands like déjà vu, as if you've heard this story before in another tongue, in another age. She pauses, her hand resting absent-mindedly on her knee, and says, "Sometimes I dream, and it's like I'm someone else." But you're still there. You freeze. The room holds its breath. "What do you mean?" you ask gently. Her eyes search yours. It's never clear. Sometimes it's like we're in a desert. Sometimes in a place with candles. I don't know. But it's always you. Always you. The weight of recognition presses on your chest. You want to tell her everything, that you've walked through those same lives, that you've felt her hand in yours across centuries. But you don't. Instead, you reach out, brush your thumb lightly across the back of her hand, and whisper, "I know." Her smile is small, but it's real. Relief passes across her face, like she's been waiting for that answer all along. Later, in the quiet after midnight, you find yourself watching her as she drifts to sleep beside you. The rise and fall of her breath, the way her hair spills across the pillow, the faint sound she makes when she exhales, all of it feels like an old memory replaying itself. You wonder how many nights like this you've lived, how many more you'll get. In the days that follow, life remains steady. You work, she works. You text each other during breaks, share photos of small things, the way the light fell across your desk, the steam curling up from her tea. It's simple, domestic, easy. Yet sometimes, in the middle of these exchanges, you're hit with a flood of emotions so intense it almost knocks you over. At a park one Sunday, as she feeds crumbs to a pair of pigeons, you feel tears threaten for no reason at all. She notices, nudges you with her shoulder. "Hey, what's that face for?" You laugh softly, wipe at your eyes. "Nothing, just, I'm glad you're here." She leans her head on your shoulder, her voice quiet. "I'm glad too." The words could be casual, but you hear their weight. It isn't just about this Sunday, this park, these pigeons. It's about every lifetime stacked behind this one, about the endless luck of finding each other again. And still, there are questions. On a rainy evening, as drops streak down her window, she whispers, "Do you think it always ends the same way? US meeting, then losing each other, then starting again?" You don't answer right away. The question sits heavy in the air, accompanied by the patter of rain. Finally, you murmur, "Maybe," or maybe this is the life where it doesn't. She smiles, but it's a sad smile. She reaches for your hand, squeezes tight, as if to anchor herself to this very moment. And you lie awake later, wondering if she's right. You still don't know whether these cycles are destiny or coincidence, love or habit, yet you can't deny the pull. You can't deny the way every gesture of hers, the tap of her mug, the way she tilts her head, the softness of her laugh feels carved into your soul. As weeks slip into months, one truth deepens inside you. This isn't about finding her. You always do. This is about keeping her. And you don't know yet if you're strong enough to hold on when the thread begins to fray. The winter comes quietly, wrapping the world in frost and slowing everything down. You notice the way your breath clouds in the air when you walk together at night, the way her scarf brushes against your chin when she leans close. These are ordinary details, yet you feel them deepen into something eternal, as though each moment is a bead on a string you've carried across lifetimes. You begin to notice her small rituals more sharply, the way she hums before speaking on the phone, the way she flips her pillow to the cooler side before settling down to sleep, the way her handwriting always leans a little too far right, like it's eager to reach the future. These are the quirks that ground you, anchor you, remind you that while your story may be vast, it is also built from simple gestures. But some nights, when the streets are quiet and the city feels older than you both, she asks questions that break the calm. Do you think we'll always find each other? You pause, searching for an answer that won't hurt, that won't unravel the gentle fabric you've built together. I think we always have, you whisper. She turns her head against your shoulder, her voice muffled. And if one day we don't? The thought lingers like smoke. You don't know how to soothe it. All you can do is squeeze her hand, as if you could promise through touch what words can't hold. Days roll forward. Seasons threaten to change again. You keep finding yourselves in small places of stillness, sipping tea at her kitchen table, flipping through a photo album, laughing softly at some childhood picture. And in each of those pauses, you feel the truth. This is what love looks like when stretched across lifetimes. Not grand gestures or fireworks. Not fate breaking down doors, but a steady, tender remembering. One evening, she tells you about a dream. We were standing in a field of tall grass, and there was music, but not like anything I know. I think it was hundreds of years ago. I think it was us. You ask if she was happy. She nods, eyes shining. Yes, even then. You hold on to that, because maybe the answer to her question isn't about forever. Maybe it's about each time you do find one another. No matter the setting, no matter the body, no matter the century, you're happy. And maybe that's enough. In the weeks that follow, the rhythm of your lives slows even further. You read together more often, you walk slower, you talk about the tiniest details as if they matter more than anything else. And you realize they do, because each detail is proof you are here, now, together. You still wonder late at night if it's love or comfort, destiny or chance. You still turn the questions over in your mind like smooth stones. But when she stirs beside you, when her fingers curl around yours in her sleep, the questions don't matter anymore. The story, you realize, is not about what came before or what comes after. The story is about the quiet miracle of finding her here in this life and calling that enough. And so, for now, you breathe easier. You watch her laugh in the kitchen light. You listen to the sound of rain against the windows. You let the lifetimes rest in the background while you live this one fully, slowly, completely. Because if you've learned anything, it's that time is wide and love stretches even wider. And maybe, just maybe, you're finally learning how to stay. And now, as the story softens into its closing, let yourself breathe a little deeper. Feel the way your shoulders sink just slightly, the way your chest loosens with every slow inhale. You've traveled through centuries tonight, through fields and cities and countless small details of love. Yet all of it, every lifetime, brings you right back here to this quiet moment in the dark. Imagine the warmth of someone's hand resting in yours. Imagine the softness of their voice, the way it drifts to you like a gentle breeze. There's no rush, no need to hold on too tightly, just the calm reassurance that what is meant to return always finds its way. The air feels slower now, as if even time is winding down with you. You can picture the two of you sitting beneath a tree, or maybe beside a river, or perhaps just in a quiet room with the sound of rain. Wherever it is, you are safe. You are loved. You are not alone. Let the images grow hazy, like watercolor fading into the page. Let the questions about past and future dissolve into the simple ease of being here. The story doesn't need an ending, only a pause, a space for you to rest. So close your eyes. Let the background hum of your room surround you. Let the night carry you gently like a river carrying a leaf downstream. There's nothing left to do now, nothing left to wonder. Only the peace of knowing love always circles back. Sleep well, and may your dreams tonight be filled with familiar faces, soft laughter, and quiet reunions.